the brother whom they sold or thought would have been dead by then. And through last week's lesson, we're made to understand that regardless of what happened to Joseph, everything that happened to Joseph, it was more of God's plan to get him to that point, right? So now, Israel in Egypt. We all know that at one point, the children of Israel were the ones crying, like say crying or trying to leave Egypt back to Canaan land, right? So where did they come from before going to Egypt? Canaan. Can you imagine the controversy? They were in Canaan, then went to Egypt. Now in Egypt, they're trying to run away from Egypt back to Canaan land. So what made them to go to Egypt? That is what we're going to look at this morning and then see the reasons behind it. Because the memory text said Israel dwelt, like it was not that they went to even visit. From the memory text, it said they dwelt. So they had their families there, they had possessions there, they grew. More so, we could just say they were comfortable in Egypt, right? Right? Okay. Aha. So, lesson says, as soon as Jacob went to Israel, now who is Jacob? Joseph's father. From this thing, I know the people that studied their lesson, and I know the people that not studied their lesson. And after this one, I will act accordingly. So, Jacob is Joseph's father. Now, Jacob went to Egypt. And on getting to Egypt, Joseph showed him to Pharaoh and said, oh, this is my father. And something happened. Jacob did what? Blessed Pharaoh. I mean, between Jacob and Pharaoh, who is the boss? Pharaoh was the boss, but then Jacob was blessing. You now remember that at a point, Isaac blessed Jacob. So you see that that blessing was what was in action. It was happening. And like I said last week, I said one thing about God is that he doesn't even stress himself. All these things just what? They just fall in place. There's no need for it to. He was not even lifting a finger to do anything. In fact, those people were the one carrying the body and doing everything for themselves. Now, Jacob blessed Pharaoh. That is accomplishing the promise or fulfilling the promise that was made that, okay, you will be a blessing to people. Now, Jacob goes at a point, goes to Joseph. You know, all this while, I would say Jacob did not die when he was in Canaan land because somehow God knew that there was a part he was going to play. So he spared his life to this point. Now, getting to Egypt, met with Joseph and all. And he had to talk to Joseph to make, let me say, you know, when old people are about to die, they'll call all their children, call everybody, and start giving words of wisdom. And Jacob knew that he was getting to that point where he was going to do what? He was going to die. So he had to call his son to talk to him. They had conversations and all of that. And it was at this point that we got to realize